Hello, good morning all of you. My name is Kasun Madushan and my student ID is MS20906726. Today I am going to demonstrate important areas about DevSecOps and how it applies to an organization. This is the content today I am going to demonstrate. Okay, first of all, we want to know what is the DevOps. DevOps is the practice of development and operation engineers participating together in the entire service life cycle from design through the development process to production support. Also can refers as combination of cultural philosophy, practices and tools. Here I briefly explain about what actually DevOps is. Okay, now we look at what is the DevSecOps. DevSecOps is the answer to integrating different challenges into a coherent and effective approach to software delivery. It is a new method that helps identify security issues early in the development process rather than after product release. This image clearly shows what will happen after implementing security into DevOps. Okay, now we move to the next slide. This image clearly shows the difference between DevOps and DevSecOps. DevOps engineers' primary objective is to take the predictability, efficiency, and security of software development to the highest level possible. DevSecOps is a further development of the DevOps concepts that, besides automation, addresses the issues of the code quality and reliability assurance. However, while DevOps prioritizes delivery speed and DevSecOps shifts security to the left, I think you all can get clear idea about what is the difference between these two. Okay, now we will move to the next slide. Okay, here I list down few DevSecOps principles. These principles need to implement DevSecOps in organization. Rest of these things we can take some other principles like automate as many deployment and development practices as possible. Use common tools from requirement and planning stages to operation and implementation stages. Use agile software principles and prefer small, frequent and incremental updates to large separate releases. Finally, security risks to the underlying infrastructure need to be measured and also quantified, because then only understand the overall security impact and risk to the software application. Okay, that's all about DevSecOps principle. Now we will move to the next slide. Here you can see few key aspects of DevSecOps like process integration, security architecture, compliance, security tooling, continuous integration and continuous development. Other than these things, version control, metadata and orchestration, incident management can take as a key aspects of DevSecOps. Okay, that's all about key aspects. Now we will move to the next slide. Okay, here describes DevSecOps provide a lot of benefits to organization and application, such as reduce the vulnerabilities of the codes, minimize the waste of application exploit, also reduce the downtime of the application. Not only that, it increases the application security, stability and availability. It also saves cost in resource management and minimize the risk and legal liability. These mentioned points can take as major benefits of DevSecOps. Okay, let's move to the next slide. A few years back, developers worked exclusively in the waterfall software development lifecycle. With this method, deployment would take place every 1 to 2 months and deploy large monolithic application over the weekend. Also, the security team would get participated in the production monitoring and test the application after it's deployed. This caused significant problem to organizations that had to bear high cost when security breaches were discovered. To avoid these problems, the best solution is to embed security to each and every phase in the software development lifecycle. The DevSecOps life cycle contains 9 phases. Here I list down it like plan, develop, build, test, release, delivery, deploy, operate, monitor and security. In DevSecOps software lifecycle, each and every phase embedded security. With DevSecOps, the software development lifecycle is not a monolithic linear process. The DevSecOps lifecycle is adaptable and has many feedback loops for continuous improvement. Okay, that's all about DevSecOps software lifecycle. Now we will move to the next slide. Okay, consider about the ecosystem is a set of process, workflows and tools that are created and executed with the tools to support all the activities all over the DevSecOps lifecycle. The DevSecOps ecosystem consists of 3 subsystems such as software factory, planning section and production operation. The DevSecOps administration team is responsible for administrating the ecosystem tools and the automating the process workflows. This is the picture of DevSecOps ecosystem. Okay, that's all about the DevSecOps ecosystem. Now we will move to the next slide. Considering the conceptual model in DevSecOps contain one or more software factories, and each software factory contains one or more pipelines. This diagram shows each factory contains only one continuous integration and one continuous development orchestra. Okay, that's all about the conceptual model of DevSecOps. Now we will move to the next slide. When it comes to the DevSecOps security pillars, according to Cloud Security Alliance, they separate DevSecOps security into 6 pillars. In here, I describe one by one separately. First one is collective responsibility. That means changing the mindset of the organization, its customs, behaviors and ideas regarding software security. With the security in a DevOps organization, security should no longer be seen as responsibility of another person. Also, security can't be viewed as separate and different from the business goals. Therefore, everyone should be responsible for the organization's security stance. Second one is collaboration and integration. There is a gap between the resources and the knowledge in the software landscape across security, development and operations. Also, without the collaboration of the organization around implementing security, success will be limited. Therefore, security only can be achieved through collaboration. Third one is pragmatic implementation. That means companies often end up acquiring tools and ad hoc solutions that are harder to operationalize, difficult to implement and ultimately don't provide actionable insights. Also, that can be used to mitigate actual security risks. Therefore, they recommended digital security and privacy model to ensure trust, safety, privacy in the digital society. Also, this model will fulfill the unmet need of connecting all the stakeholders, as well as also security is built into application and the software lifecycle that produces applications. Fourth one is bridging compliance and development. Through this security pillar, eliminating the development and compliance gap and recognize which one is applicable control and translating them to appropriate software measure. By using these controls can be automated and measure the quality of the risk mitigation. Fifth one is automation. Through automation, easily can avoid manual coding errors and introduce automated security practices. Through this, they can reduce manual process and can easily increase software efficiency and minimize reworks. Last one is measure, monitor, report and action. Through this can monitor vulnerabilities, remediation time, frequency of deployment, automated testing per application and tested percentage of the code. The result during software development and after delivery must be reported, measured and monitored. That's all about 6 pillars of security. Okay, now we will move to the next slide. This is the picture of how Department of Defense organizations separate their security. Here they separate their security into four pillars like organization, process, technology and governance. And each and every security pillar you can see the key areas of security they concerns. Okay, that's all about the DevSecOps security. Now we will move to the next slide. Here I list down few DevSecOps tools according to every stage of the software development life cycle. Considering planning phase, we can use team collaboration tool, issue tracking tool, assess inventory management tool, data modeling tool, and so on. Also, by using these tools can take few benefits as earlier can identify issues and mitigate the issues, increase team efficiency and minimize cost. Next one is development phase tool. In development phase, we can use integrated development tool and source code repository tools. Also, by using these tools can take few benefits as through visual representation, improve efficiency, increase bug fixing speed and file comparing facility. Next one is build phase tool. In build phase, we can use container build tool, artifact repository tool and static application security test tool. Also, by using these tools can take few benefits as reduce human mistakes, increase code reliability and finding errors before execution. Next one is test phase tool. In test phase tool, we can use test development tool, test management tool, network security and database security tool as an important tools. Also, by using these tools can take few benefits as increase test loyalty and increase the test automation speed. Next one is release and delivery phase tool. In release and delivery phase, we can use release packaging tool as a key tool. Also, by using this tool, we can ensure that they have completed build, pass all the test and security analysis. Next one is deploy phase tool. In deploy phase tool, we can divide it into two main categories like virtual machine deployment and container deployment. Through these tools easily can prevent data losses and provide data security and privacy. Next one is operate phase tool. In operate phase, we can use backup management and operation dashboard tools. By using these tools, we can increase failure recovery and all other operation management. Next one is monitor phase tool. In monitor phase, we can use database monitoring tool and database security audit tool as a main tool, and also by using these tools, we can increase continuous database operations and assist troubleshooting issues. Last one is security. Consider about security, it is not a separate section in the DevSecOps lifecycle. Rather, every security activities take place in all phases of the lifecycle. These DevSecOps security practices enable automated risk characterization, mitigation, and monitoring over the lifecycle of the application. That's all about DevSecOps tool and features of the tools. Now we will move to the next slide. Okay, here you can see some other DevSecOps tools. Some of the tools can be used as free and some of are proprietary. This image clearly shows what are the tools and what are the industry use tools. Like here you can see some famous tools like Git, Docker, Selenium for automated testing and so on. That's all about the DevSecOps tools and benefits. Now we will move to the next slide. Here I list down few DevSecOps best practices. First one is automation is key to securing continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline. That means speedy delivery is one of the key aspects of CI/CD pipeline. that environment in DevOps. So integrating security in this fast-paced environment requires automating security and embedding relevant controls and tests across the development lifecycle. Second one is identify vulnerabilities and address code dependencies. That means considering the possible vulnerabilities associated with an open source usage, it's important to understand the open source usage for a successful DevSecOps strategy. That's the basic idea of the second point. And third one is let developers get accustomed to security checks in the workflow. That's mean developers need to get accustomed to security checks as a part of their normal workflow. Also, many tools are used special to this case as they allow developers to scan the code and any possible security checks. Also, they write and give the instant feedback. This happens actually as a part of a developer use workflows. That's the basic idea of the third one. Fourth one is choosing right tool is very important. That's the very important best practices that DevSecOps has. And this normally refers as choosing right security tool is very important. Important for the success of the DevSecOps process because security tools should be able to get integrated easily into the fast-moving CI/CD cycles. That means continuous integration and continuous development. Fifth one is implementing threat modeling mechanism. That means threat modeling mechanism in the DevSecOps lifecycle helps developers to view software in an attacker perspective. That's developers will be extra careful in writing code and also be able to generate source code because threat assessment also helps to identify possible vulnerabilities in the architecture design also have been missed out of the security checks. Sixth one is critical training on secure coding. That means developers across many firms not realize the facts that they are coding the insecure way because it's important to make note of training developers on the way to deliver secure code. This happens to be one of the serious challenges to successful implementation of a DevSecOps practices. That's all about the best practices in DevSecOps. Now we will move to the next slide. Here I list 4 different DevSecOps challenges. First one is reluctance to integrate. It refers as enabling teams to work in tandem with each other rather than independent of each other. Second one is clash of the tools. There are plenty of tools available in the market now to implement DevSecOps. The first challenge shows choosing one that fit well. Also, the second challenge is to properly integrate them in order to build, deploy and test a continuous manner. Also, it's not an easy task to bring together tools from various departments and sync them on one platform. That is the basic idea about the clash of the tools actually. Third one is implementing security in continuous integration and continuous deployment. Security has always been seen as something that comes at the end of the development. But with DevSecOps, security becomes a part of a continuous integration and continuous development. Fourth one is chasing perfection. It's impossible to have a completely smooth process right off the bat because many organizations give up because time wasted in trying to make things work perfectly. That's the basic idea about chasing perfection. Okay, that's all about the DevSecOps factors. Now we will move to the last section of the presentation. That's a conclusion part. Actually, through this document, we have introduced some key DevSecOps concepts. Describe the DevSecOps ecosystem, including the software factories and the sidecar container security stack, and indicate how the ecosystem should be set up and used. More details on the security pillars, tools, principles, challenges and features of the DevSecOps finally shows how DevSecOps effectively used to the use and how DevSecOps integrate to the organization. Okay, I think that's all about the DevSecOps technology and all the thing. I think you all have get very clear idea about DevSecOps technology. That's all. Thank you for listening me. Have a nice